Yo, what's going on YouTube, and welcome back to another Monster Hunter Cross news video. The most recent issue of Famitsu dropped in Japan last night, and it contains some seriously awesome news. One thing in particular I am super hyped about. In fact, let's start right there. Lagiacrus is back. If you're as hyped as I am, then hit that like button. Lagiacrus is one of my all-time favourite monsters, right next to Arekkz. So to finally see it make a return, and completely on land, has just made Monster Hunter Cross even more awesome for me. For those of you wondering, water combat will not be making a return in Monster Hunter Cross. We've had this confirmed, so Lagiacrus will be a completely on-land fight, more akin to the way we fought Ivory Lagiacrus, only this time with some new moves. One of the new moves in particular looks like he rains lightning down all around the area, so this controls a lot of space and you're going to need to watch out for this one. He also has a few other tweaks here and there, but for the most part, until we see some serious gameplay, just know that the Lagi you know and love is back. While on the topic of returning monsters, we also get to see Blangonga again. I mentioned in a previous video that I thought he'd make a return based on the fact that we saw Blangos in the Snowy Mountain, but this just confirms it. I also really love this monster too, mainly because his armour looks really cool, especially with the helmet. I'm actually really interested to see if the subspecies also makes a return and we get to fight Copper Blangonga, because that was a pretty cool fight as well, but only time will tell on that front. And finally, the last returning monster announced. For the Carapacian fans out there, Shogun Senator is making a return. I always preferred fighting this one to Daimyo. I just thought this was like a much more interesting fight, plus it was a little bit more challenging, so this is going to be sweet. Now, moving on to the next topic. This actually came first in the issue, I just jumped to Lagi for hype reasons. But we finally get the name for the third flagship monster. The electric green dragon is called Arekkz. There were a few images of this in the actual issue itself, and they also dropped some more on the Monster Hunter Cross website, which you can see here. One of his moves, he'll actually throw out these electric columns, which will be pretty deadly for anyone caught in front of him. Another one of his moves allows him to charge his tail, and if you look at the pictures, it looks like he's got some pretty serious reach, so you're definitely going to want to watch out for that one. Plus, he also has claws like a lot of other dragons and wyverns, and Arekkz is said to be hyper aggressive. And this is kind of like a personal thing, but seeing the thunder makes me think that this is like the dragon form of Rajang, which is going to be pretty insane. If it's actually a really difficult fight, it's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out. And finally, throughout the fight, it's also worth noting that he'll actually charge up, kind of like how Zinogre does, and it's said that once he's fully charged, his attacks are much more powerful. Now, with the monsters out of the way, let's talk hunting styles. This issue finally shed some light on the Bushido style, as well as a bit more on the other three. We've seen a fair bit from the Guild style, Aerial style, and the Striker styles in both the weapon demos and the gameplay on Capcom TV, but Bushido has been pretty light on info. So let's start there. First of all, it seems like Bushido style is going to be the most skillful one. This relies heavily on being able to read the monster and know how and when to evade. If you use Bushido style, you can only equip one hunting skill, but it also has an ability which effectively translates as the perfect evade or guard. It's a move that is pulled off right at the moment when you're about to be hit, and if done correctly, will allow you to pull off a perfect evade or a guard depending on the weapon. Charge Blade, Lance and Gun Lance have a perfect guard, everything else has a perfect evade. If you do pull this off, and you perfectly time the guard or the evade, it'll activate a special move that you wouldn't normally have, and I imagine it will do some pretty nice damage. While we're here, quickly skimming over the other styles, it just reiterates that Guild style is the traditional hunting style. It has no obvious weakness, it's a great all-rounder, and will allow you to use two hunting skills. This is the one we've seen most of, so you guys know the deal by now. If you played Monster Hunter, you know what Guild style is all about. As for Striker, this is the more simplified moveset, so a lot of the intricacies in combat from the more recent Monster Hunter games will be gone, and instead it'll be more akin to the original Monster Hunters. However, this style does allow you to equip 3 hunting skills. Lastly, the Aerial style does come with some compromises. The trade-off for being able to springboard off a monster and leap in the air means some moves aren't present. For example, the Lance doesn't get the back hops, which means this most likely isn't one for evade lancers. This style also only allows the use of 1 hunting skill. And that, my friends, is it for this video. Now, Famitsu magazine did also skim over some of the returning environments, which we've seen in some of the gameplay and the trailers, and also a bit on some of the people or the characters in the village. But I'll cover that in a separate video, or if you want to see it in the meantime, then I'll link you to the Famitsu scans in the description box down below, so you can check them out for yourself. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think of the latest news, and which hunting style are you thinking of using first. And thanks again for watching, take it easy, catch you next time, peace out.